Tsutomu Yamaguchi was born in 1916 in Nagasaki, a port city shaped by sea breezes, rolling hills, and a gentle rhythm that governed the lives of its people. From an early age, Tsutomu was a quiet observer, someone who watched the world carefully, always noticing small details others missed. The creaking of wooden doors, the ripples on the harbor waters, the way sunlight filtered through bamboo leaves. These small, ordinary things filled his early memories. He enjoyed simple routines, long walks along the shoreline, and afternoons spent sketching the outlines of ships that came and went through the bay. He wasn't drawn to noise or large gatherings, preferring quiet contemplation, the click of a pencil against paper, and the slow unfolding of ideas. As he grew older, his interest in machines became a passion. He read about engineering with focus, not for prestige, but out of fascination for how things functioned. He liked precision, order, and systems. Eventually, he took a job as a draftsman at a shipbuilding company, where his days were filled with technical drawings, measurements, and soft conversations with colleagues. His mornings started with the sound of distant waves, the soft whistle of a kettle, and a short walk through narrow streets lined with old stone walls. His workplace was quiet, structured, and dependable. He worked steadily, carefully, and often remained after hours to review designs. Time passed in smooth cycles. The seasons changed. The city moved slowly around him. Then, in 1945, during a warm August, Tsutomu was sent on a business trip to Hiroshima. He packed lightly, brought his notebooks, and boarded a train that wound through green valleys, across quiet rivers, and into the heart of a city he had never visited before. Hiroshima, too, had a calm rhythm. The streets were orderly, the air was still. He arrived a few days before the 6th of August and spent his time visiting offices, reviewing diagrams, and making notes. On the morning of August 6, 1945, he was preparing to return home. That day was bright and cloudless, the kind of morning that made the world feel undisturbed. He walked toward the shipyard. At 8:15 a.m., without warning, a bright flash filled the sky. There was no sound at first, only a sudden, piercing light. Then came the force, a blast that struck like a wave. He was thrown to the ground, burned, disoriented. The world around him had changed in an instant. The streets he had just walked were gone. Buildings had vanished. Silence followed. Somehow, he survived, though he was hurt and dazed. He found temporary shelter in the ruins, and that night, he did not sleep. There were no lights, no cars, only smoke and distant fire. The next morning, bruised and bandaged, he began his journey back to Nagasaki. The train still ran, slowly, uncertainly. He sat quietly as the countryside moved past him once more, changed and unfamiliar. When he returned, he received medical care and told colleagues what had happened, though few could comprehend it. On August 9th, Tsutomu, still wrapped in bandages, went to the office. He tried to resume his work. At 11:02 a.m., another flash filled the sky. For the second time in 3 days, he found himself at the center of unimaginable force. Once more, he survived. The injuries compounded. The streets were full of smoke and confusion. He stayed indoors for weeks, healing, silent, moving little. Outside, the city tried to regain balance. In the weeks and months that followed, Tsutomu focused on recovery. He moved slowly. He didn't dwell on the events, nor did he speak often about them. He returned to his quiet habits, walking in the mornings, writing in notebooks, sketching designs. The city was no longer the same, but his mind found calm in repetition. Over time, the world moved forward. The noise of change passed through Japan. Factories reopened, streets filled with bicycles and footsteps. Children laughed again in alleyways. Tsutomu remained steady, consistent. He avoided attention. He kept his memories folded neatly, speaking of them only when asked. When he did, his voice was soft, not dramatic. He told the facts as they were, unembellished and direct. He spoke of walking through the ruins, of the quiet that followed each flash, of the weight that settled over the cities afterward. But he never raised his voice. He never accused or exaggerated. As the years turned to decades, Tsutomu became a father and an elder. He continued working in his field for some time before retiring. He spent his days gardening, reading, and walking in nature. He observed birds, the changing clouds, the way trees leaned in the wind. He remained attentive to small details, the click of shoes on gravel, the smell of rain, the taste of warm tea. As people learned his story, he was asked to speak publicly, and he agreed on occasion, not for fame, but because he believed in steady reminders. He hoped people would remember what he had seen, not for shock, but for quiet reflection. His life was not defined by noise or conflict, but by survival, by endurance, and by peace. He once said that what mattered most was how people chose to live afterward. That message, calm and persistent, became his legacy. In his final years, Tsutomu moved more slowly. His steps were shorter, his days more still, but his mind remained sharp. He wrote letters, read newspapers, and sat by the window watching the light move across the floor. He spoke to neighbors, watered plants, and kept a tidy space. He passed away in 2010, age 93, surrounded by quiet. His story, told not in dramatic headlines, but in slow, thoughtful retellings, became part of history. It is remembered not because of what happened to him, but because of how he carried it, with patience, with dignity, with calm. Tsutomu Yamaguchi, the man who walked through 2 blasts and chose to live quietly afterward, remains a symbol not of destruction, but of stillness after chaos, of life that continues, of breath that keeps going. His story teaches us that strength does not always roar. Sometimes it is the quietest sound in the room, the sound of someone choosing to wake up, get dressed, and keep moving. That is the story of Tsutomu Yamaguchi, and that is enough. In the quiet years that followed, Tsutomu Yamaguchi found comfort in simple routines and the gentle rhythms of daily life. He rose each morning to watch the soft glow of dawn, the way light slowly stretched across the horizon, bringing warmth and color to the sky. He tended to his garden with patient hands, nurturing each plant as if it held a small piece of hope. His footsteps echoed softly on the gravel paths as he walked, mindful of every sound and shadow. Though the memories of the past remained with him, they no longer defined the shape of his days. Instead, he focused on the present, on the calm moments between events, on the quiet persistence of life itself. When asked about his experiences, he spoke not of fear or anger, but of resilience and the power of moving forward. His story, shared in gentle tones, reminds us that even after the most profound upheaval, there is space for peace, for healing, and for a life lived with grace. This is the enduring legacy of Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a testament to the strength found in quiet endurance, a whisper of hope carried softly through time.